Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show in the world. Guys, I gotta tell you, and I don't know how to say this. I don't wanna sound like a mashigana, but our channel is unbelievable. The people that have noticed who we are is unbelievable. I can't even tell you who are the people that are noticing our channel because these people are mammoths, colossals, that they are watching our channel very, very, very carefully, so, uh, you might think it's bad, but it's good. It's good when you have all these people, like what they say. When that song says, all eyes on you, well, that's who we are in this channel. All eyes are on all of us. And just to let you know that I feel very, very happy because when you get those emails, and they're writing to you, and and you can tell they're a little bit salty, and bitter. It's a good thing, and so I gotta thank all of you, for hanging out with us in this channel because there's some people there. Yesterday I did a live stream that many people were blown away. Were blown away for what I told you guys yesterday. So if you guys were here yesterday, you know what? It's salty dogs. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Donut. You know what I'm trying to say. They get salty and they get bitter. And I'm gonna tell you something so you don't make those mistakes. You always in life, when you're gonna say something about somebody, I'm telling you because I know. And then I even test it out to find out how much I know. Don't drop no names. You use a subliminal character, a cartoon character, a figure, but don't ever use nobody's name. And I'm telling you because I know. I'm stupid like that. I know. You know what I'm saying? So, that we have a lot of things happening in this channel. We get thunder lightnings hit our TV tower. We get a lot of the you know what I'm trying to tell you. You got to be very, very careful how you describe things, how you say things, and every once in a while you want to test the waters just a little bit to see how you shake them all up. How you shake up. Remember in the movie The Wizard of Oz, the tree, the apple tree. They will get mad. It's like that. You shake the tree and they get mad. You guys seen The Wizard of Oz, right? So, just to let you know that I'm very, very happy. The accomplishments of people who notice this channel. You might think, and I gotta tell you this, you might think that we have 9 right now organic watch channel subscribers, but there's a lot of people out there that go incognito. They show me that word, incognito. I don't know what that means, but they told me something like you hide. Like you hide and you can't see them, but they told me that we're loaded up with incognito. What does incognito mean, Mr. Donut or Thurston Howell? Somebody can help me out with this, just to let you guys know what I'm trying to say, that this channel is getting powerful. And they would like to you know what I mean. You know Anyway, guys, before I get into the watch market update show, I'm gonna ask all of you, one time only, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to give us a thumbs up because Kino didn't like when I said the other day in one of my videos that I was no longer gonna tell you guys or preach to you guys about liking the channel, subscribing to the channel. And then I said, hagan lo que ustedes quieran, do whatever you want, But Sweet Kid Kino laid the law on me, and he told me, I'm the owner of the show, and you're the voice. So I had to go back and tell you, please don't forget that. All right, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, if you are into gold, if you are into silver, if you are into platinum, if you are into palladium, if you're into rhodium, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, what's happening out there is something that I've been that's another thing that I feel very, me siento orgulloso, me siento orgulloso. I feel, I feel, my God, that I have some kind of a connection, and it's, the way I see things, the way I look at, things, the way they behave. And it's incredible that I've been telling you people for the longest, if you want to buy something, now that I'm telling you, I would always say to you guys, look into gold. I would always tell you that, and God knows it's true. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. But ladies and gentlemen, the price of gold today hit a price of $3,722. I'm in total disbelief. $3,722. The troy ounce of gold, something that I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell you this so you guys, this thing is gonna keep on climbing up, man. This thing is gonna keep on climbing up, and I'm telling you this because you guys should know this. This is the least that I can do. This is my way of giving back to you guys. So I'm telling you what it is. Another thing that I'm gonna tell all of you is that I saw the price of silver when basically you can say it was just dirt cheap. It was dirt cheap silver. And from prices of $9.70, $12. And ladies and gentlemen, whoever has pounds of silver, and they bought it at 5 something, at 7 something, 9 something. Ladies and gentlemen, the price of silver, look into it. I'm not going to tell you to buy nothing. Never look into it. The price of silver today this is unbelievable. This is a Mr. Donut, Thurston Howell III. This is a price that is unbelievable. I need some help from you guys because, has this price been around before, the price I'm going to tell you about silver? Because the troy ounce of silver as today is at $44 an ounce. A troy ounce. Does anybody know what silver, has they ever reached that number of $44? I don't know too much about that. I'm asking for your help, Maybe you guys can help me out with that situation. The silver is moving on up, moving on up. Like the Jeffersons. You remember the Jeffersons? We're moving on up. You know what I'm talking about. The Jeffersons, unbelievable program, Wheezy, they had Wheezy there, and George, and they had the maid. Remember the maid? She was unbelievable. So, silver is moving on up, just to, let you guys know. And ladies and gentlemen, I've been predicting about, platinum too, that, they're playing around. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe the price. Wow, man. The highest has been in 20 years. Thank you, Mr. Donut. Mr. Donut, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Gracias, Baba. Thank you so much. You heard what Mr. Donut said. Read his comments so you can learn, Listen and learn. Listen and learn. The highest in 20 years. The highest. So just to let you know. And platinum, ladies and gentlemen, you're just not gonna, was about $9. Yeah. You're not gonna believe this. Platinum today is at a price of $1,420. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's making all these, all these metals, precious metals, move around. Palladium is the same thing. Rhodium is the same thing. Rhodium is like $7,200 a troy ounce, and just they're stable. Rhodium, what you put on these rings, that kind of stuff, Exactly. I'm telling you, Mr. Donut, people don't understand, because people keep on picking on their nose and don't know what's going on. Exactly, Jose. History repeats itself, las historias se repiten. I said in Spanish, Las historias se repiten. It means history repeats, and it continues repeating. And there's a lot of things happening in the world, not only in the world, but also in the United States of America, man. We got so many things happening that it's not funny. I'm in a different time zone from wherever you guys are at. So I'm looking at news and I'm hearing all kind of things, and it's not it's I'm telling you guys, apreten, tighten up, man. You need to tighten up because the situation is getting, not funny. I don't know if you saw this, but we talk in this channel about everything. We don't care. We talk about everything. We saw the way after they did to what they did to that young man. We have a movement. I told you guys there was going to be a movement. I'm telling you, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm beginning to think I'm like Miss Cleo, like Miss Cleo, because I told you guys once they did that to that gentleman, once they did that to that gentleman, I knew there was going to be a movement. And you're not going to believe this. There was a movement in London, I believe, in England, of millions and millions of people. We had a movement for that gentleman. I'm not going to be ashamed to tell you who he is. His name is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk. A movement over there also in Asia, over there in China. It's unbelievable. There's a movement everywhere. And I told all of you, I'm just saying that what they did to him was unbelievable. Do I agree with him or do I disagree with him? That doesn't matter. We're talking about somebody's life, and there's a big movement going on. So you guys need to be aware. Put your shekels away, put your plata away, put your money away, put your euros away, put your cuartos away, los chavos away. La situación está caótica. The situation is chaotic, chaotic. The situation around the world is chaotic. You got to be very careful what you say, how you say it. Saludos, Mr. Blair. Saludos to you. You got to be very, very careful the way you express yourself, because I'm telling you, from me expressing the way I expressed myself yesterday to you, unbelievable recovering tomato can friends of mine, people start calling me and sending me emails and they want to find out everything I told. I don't know if you understand. Yesterday I gave you, chapter 20, I think it was, I don't know, Mr. Dono, maybe you can tell me what chapter I said yesterday, but I said something in the high 20s, I told you how these people work and all the luxury ADs, authorized dealers, how they work out there, and I'm telling you what's going on, I'm telling you what's going on so you guys don't get flim-flam, don't get fleeced, don't become cow tippers, possum kickers, crumb bums, sandbags, tomato cans, crayon eaters, because this is what I'm here for, to help you people out. So I just want you to know what's going on. If you're looking into those precious metals, Papi, I started telling people in this channel, I started telling people in this channel, looking to gold when gold was at, I don't know, man, 17 and change an ounce. 17 and change an ounce, and it's at $3,700 a troy ounce. I mean, you guys do whatever you want. It's your money, and you do whatever you want. Yesterday, I took the opportunity to tell you that a prestigious watch brand was coming around, and they were following what the gentleman from the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, over there, in Washington, over there, he was talking about the tariffs and all that good stuff. Well, this luxury watch brand also jumped in the bandwagon, and they raised the tariff price of 15% on Patek Philippe watches. I told you that, and I'll tell you again. don't worry about that. Eso es mierda, you know? Eso es mierda. No le den cabeza a eso, you know? Don't give it head. Don't give it too much head. Eso es mierda. But one of the things that many people yesterday when I made that live, did you guys enjoy the live stream that I made yesterday? Did anybody enjoy it? Did I make sense? Say yesterday, anybody? You can tell me no. I want you to tell me no. I like that. You know, a good little thing is good. You know, did you enjoy the show, or you know, you don't want to keep on hearing no more, none of this stuff. You know? Okay, I'm not getting. Okay. Yes. Okay. There you go. Yes. It was great. Beautiful then. So that's wonderful then. And so I got a couple of. Okay, Mr. Donut. Okay, Wicked. Yes, sir. Yes, Lise. Yes. Okay, great. So then I can keep on going. And one of the things after I did the show, I got some, like I told you, emails and texts and all that good stuff. And the people were worried about the watch brand that I called. You know, they put it as the luxury, you know, brand. They made it to number 5 in luxury, you know, which it was Rolex. And people were asking if, you know, now that Patek Philippe did what they did, that they put the 15%, is Rolex gonna also put their tariffs on their watches? And I told you guys this because, you know, I have to explain to you, because some of you yesterday when I told you that Patek Philippe was going to increase their tariffs to 15%, none of you didn't know about this, or some of you didn't know about this, or all of you didn't know about this, whichever you want to call it. But I did tell you, and some of you were very, very happy to hear this news, you know. So I'm going to go to Rolex now, and I told you guys. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to tell you something about Rolex today, because a lot of you are asking this question, you know, and I'm gonna make you feel better. You know, Rolex increased their prices from a 1% to a 3% in the beginning of the year. Listen and learn. In the beginning of the year, they raised their prices to a 1% to a 3%. And so when they did that, you know, these people are unbelievable. You know, this Rolex, you know, exactly. There you go, Franco Fiore. You know, Franco Fiore's ahead of the game. Franco Fiore, I gotta tell you, all of you out there, if you don't know who Franco Fiore is, he's beautiful people. You know, he's beautiful people, and he's ahead of the game. He's ahead of me. So I'm gonna continue. Franco, te quiero mucho, papá. Te quiero mucho. So the price went in January, you know, when we did Happy New Year, the 31st, the 24th, you know, December 31st, Happy New Year, next day, boom, Rolex said we're going to raise the prices from a 1 to a 3%. But ladies and gentlemen, like I told you, Rolex is unbelievable. You know, they are the sharpest knife in the drawer, you know, the sharpest knife in the drawer. And you're not going to believe this. But then in some time, you know, when April came around, you know, they started preparing themselves, and they said they were going to increase again the prices of Rolex. You know, let me see what Kino wrote for me here. Yes, they're going to increase May the 1st. What Mr. Franco Fiore told you, they were going to increase it another 3%. You know, another 3%. So in other words, in a matter of I don't know, 5 months, right? 4 months. I don't know. Please help me out, Mr. Donor. I don't know. January, February, March, April. You know, I don't know. In 5 months, they increase the prices of Rolex twice. You know, twice. You know, and these people can do it because these people are unbelievable. You know, not. These people son una jodienda. In 7 months, there you go. In 7 months, you know, they have raised the prices twice. You know, because they are the king. You know, they are the king. There's no lie. You know, they're the king. And if you look at my crown, if you look at it very careful, you know, what do you see there in the middle? Come on, tell me what you see in the middle. That's who they are, because they play. They play with BlackRock, Blackstone, J.P. Morgan, the Rothschilds, Rockefeller, the Knights Templar. You know, they play with all that. And they can do whatever they want. And none of us, aquí nadie se salva. Nobody will get saved by Rolex. You know, Rolex doesn't give a frog. Rolex doesn't give a frog. Understand me that Rolex doesn't give a frog. And I told you something yesterday, that Rolex is looking for a certain for a certain person to be using their watches, you know, and they don't care. So I told you, in a matter of 7 months, as Mr. Doda told you, they have raised the price 2 times. And I told you yesterday, and I'm going to say it again, I don't think and I don't believe that Rolex would increase the prices, because they have increased it in less than a year 2 times. But, you know, that doesn't say that they can say now, you know what, we're going to raise it to another 15% because of the tariffs. And ladies and gentlemen, I got sad news to tell you. I really do, because they are the king of watches. The king of watches can do whatever they want. You know, the king of watches can do. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think an attack of somebody saying that the Ferrari car has parts coming in from China, you know, a piston, you know what I'm trying to say, an electric outlet from China, you know, or let's say, you know, another car brand, you know, these people were attacked for 5 months that Rolex was bringing parts from China, and you know, in some way, somehow, you know, we believe it. You know, we believe it. We believe that they did bring some parts. But the question is, did anything happen to Rolex when they were being told and they were being accused by the rapper? You know, break the rapper, and that girl, you know, I don't know, the other girl from over there from the Bronx, you know, Big Carly, you know, Big Carly, and all these people, you know, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. These people are like Teflon, you know, like the Teflon, nothing sticks on them, you know, the Teflon. Eso como el Teflon, you know, and nothing sticks to them. You can blah, 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 and, you know, and say all the things you want to say about them, but nothing sticks on these people. These people are untouchable. These people, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know something. The most powerful, if they're hearing me this, if you guys hear me, Rolex, the most powerful watch brand out there, their name is Rolex. And that's it. I don't think they're going to raise the tariff price to 15%. But they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want because they're looking for a special kind of customer. They don't want a customer that's taking pictures and uploading them in Instagram and Facebook with 2 bricks of $100 bills like this, you know, and with one of those funny cigarettes in their hand. They don't want that. They don't want that customer. I told you about that yesterday. I explained that to you yesterday. They don't want that kind of customer. You know, they want that Wall Street customer. They want that Silicon Valley customer. I'm not saying that I'm thinking like that. I'm telling you the way I can see things, you know, the way I see things. How do you know? Allegedly. Everything that I say is allegedly. Even to those people that wrote to me and sent me emails and all that, allegedly. You know, these people, they're looking for, I don't know what the word is, you know, a profile, you know, you know what I'm trying to say? They're looking for a profile. They're looking for you know, and I told you something yesterday. To the ones they weren't here, I'll repeat it again to you. I already told you what that little, you know, like if you ask me again, People keep on asking me always, is that list that they have in Rolex for real? I'm gonna tell you allegedly, that is bullshit. That list is bullshit. That is just basically to get your information to find out who you are. Who you are. They want to find out who you are. They want to find out how you live. And the most powerful thing that we have in our hands is Google. When I say Google it, Google it. If you don't do it, that's your problem. But if you want to find out, you just Google it. You won't get the whole picture. You won't get this, but if you Google it, you will get you. That's what it is. It's a list. I can't use that word, so I got to talk. It is that list. And they want you to put there your name, and then you go como un lambón. You go like a lambón, and then you have people like Mr. Wicked, right? And I'm going to say Mr. Wicked in a kind way. Mr. Wicked has been trying to buy one of those Batman things, Batman watches, the Batman, and he hasn't been able to get it. And, I want to help out Mr. Wicked. When you go into those ADs and they tell you put down your name in this index card, your name, your phone number, your favorite color, your favorite watch, your wish watch, that's just to find out who you are. See that? Look, Mr. Wicked is telling you it's true, And I got to tell you this because, who's going to tell you? Nobody's going to tell you, Nobody's going to tell you because son unos lambones. Like right now, 24 organic subscribers, 10 thumbs up. And I keep on showing you. So when you go in there and they give you the little index card, ya tú sabes que es una porquería. Already they're full of it, It's just to screen. How do you say that word? Screen? That's screen. How do you call it? When they do it, what I'm trying to say. They screen you. They screen you. They want to screen who you are. They don't want to see me with two in a picture, like, two chicks, with two bottles of Cristal and two, 4 stacks of $100 bills. They don't want that. They don't want that. They do a background check. They do a background check on you to find out who you are. If you fit the right credentials to be awarded their watch, to be awarded. And I also told you guys, I'm going to tell you again. Listen to me. Everybody needs to make money. Everybody needs to make a living. And as long as you make it honradamente, as long as you make it, in a very humble, honest way, that is no problem. But I told you yesterday, when you guys get a special phone call from one of those luxury ADs, you got to be careful who you're turning over your watch over to, because they're the ones, they're going to call the person right away, tell them, listen, I have here Mr. Nieves, and he just, sold me the watch that you gave it to him, and I pay him $3,000, I pay him $4,000 over, MSRP. You got to be careful. You got to pick and choose how you're doing that, because they make a phone call and they call over there and they say that you're a cockroach. You know that? They say you're a cockroach. ¿Tú entendiste? So I gotta keep on telling you these things, so these things don't come and affect you. You gotta be very, very careful. There's a lot of things. These people, listen. There was a closing line, and this man made billions of dollars, probably one of the richest there is, and then he started seeing people that they were wearing his clothes, wearing his clothes, and he didn't like that, he didn't like that, and he got a backslash for opening his mouth, for wolfing his mouth, because anybody that has money can pay for whatever clothes there is, and all these people, when they don't see that it's the right person, using their luxury brands, they somehow they they try to, like, you know what, if these are the people, listen and learn, if these are the people, they're buying my clothes, like say that what that clothing line, Versace, right? Versace, give an example, you know, what they do is they say if the shirt costs $100, now let's put it at 250 because we don't want these certain people to to buy that shirt. I don't want to keep on talking because I don't want to say something that's gonna offend anybody. Like an example, I'm from Puerto Rico. Maybe I don't fit me personally. Maybe I buy their shirt and they say we don't want to see this guy wearing our shirt, Juan Felipe Nieves, that Puerto Rican guy. So they're very selective, and that goes with watch brands. Okay. Anyway, guys, I hope that helps you out. What I was trying to transmitir. 23 organic subscribers, 12 miserable, thumbs up. 12 miserable thumbs up. And that's me giving you something that I'm teaching you. This is why sometimes Kino, he tells me you cannot teach these people so much because these people don't really, appreciate what you're doing. Nobody's gonna dare to tell them what the index card is. Kino, send me an email because right now I'm in vacation with my wife. We're traveling the jungle. Drinking some jungle juice, and he told me, he said you can't, you just can't. Déjalo como morones, déjalo como morones, leave them like morons, so they keep on, going there and signing their name, their date of birth. Check this out: name, date of birth, email, city, the most easiest thing, Tipo IBF. You know who the IBF is? Tipo IBF. IBF. Here's all my information. The only thing they need from you is your social security number. The only thing they need from you guys is the social security number. No sean lambones. No sean palomos. ¿Tú entendiste? No sean palomos. Anyway, I'm going to give you guys a watch market update for some gentlemen that have requested, these, exactly, you can. Franco, these people son los lambones, they're lambones, it's what it is. But keep on going to your favorite store and keep on giving them your email address and all the good stuff that you do. These people are unbelievable. These people they're an infection in the corner of your neck with pus, and you like that, you like that. Listen to me. I'm going to say this one more time. Anything in life that is for free, you don't care about it. You know when they start giving you those energy drinks when you're going to the beach, they got a big ice box full of them for free, and you take it and you 6 months later, because I remember that Monster. I remember that Monster drink when they were giving it away. Oh man, it tastes, and then it was for free. People were getting 12, 16 big bullets like this big, and they were saying all kind of things of it, and 3 months later, man, they were paying $7 for one of those Monster drinks. But son los lambones. Los lambones son así. You know what lambón is? You know what a lambón is? I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. You Google if you want to find out. Because right now I'm taking time out of my day before I go, and lay down in bed, because I'm tired. My body aches. My body aches. But let me give you a watch market update. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna give you a watch market update on a Richard Mille. You know, Richard Mille. Richard Mille is unbelievable. The RM004. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. I don't care what they tell you out there. Richard Mille watches are dead in water, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Mille watches, the AGPG. You know, it's an unbelievable split second. It's an unbelievable watch. Chronograph. It's an incredible watch. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, to you people out there, that they were telling you that this was the $1 million watch and all that good stuff, I got news for you. You know, I got some sad news for you guys. If you're looking into this watch, I'm gonna tell you, harder than Frank Mueller. This watch, let me tell you, man. You guys make fun of Jacob and Company. You guys made fun of Alliance. Alliance Cyberstone was the first one. Alliance Cyberstone, you know, Cyberstein, something to that effect. Then Hublot came out, and if you look at Align, you had those Stephans. You know those Stephans, Stefan Gloria. You know those people, the Stephans. They had the Alliance Cyberstone. They were the kings of having that watch. They were colorful, with triangles, boxes and all that. And they were selling those watches like exactly that one right there. They were the first one. If you want to talk about, these watches that were made with these materials and funny stuff, I'm going to give you the story right now. Por ser lambones, I'm going to give it to you. Alliance Cyberstone, unbelievable, colorful, round circles, triangles, boxes, and the hands were weird, yellow, blue, red, white, all that good stuff. And the pushers on the chrono were red, yellow, white, blue, whatever it is. And they were the first ones. And then you had Jacob, Company Jacob. You know who Company Jacob is? They came in Company Jacob. And you had that rapper, that rapper from over there, from New York, the rapper, I forgot his name. Doggy, that guy. And he had it, and everybody had it. And the other one too, ZJ had it too. So we went from Align, we went to Company Jacob, and then we went into, Frank Mueller. And then went to Frank Mueller. You had a bunch of soccer players, using the watch. And then from Frank Mueller, we went to Hublot. And we had a bunch of, basketball players. I mean, they have so many editions on Hublot, it was disgusting. Hublot everywhere. It was Hublot every single where. And then from Hublot, we jumped to Richard Mille. We went to Richard Mille. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for that Richard Mille RM004 AGPG split second chronograph, do yourself a favor. Don't pay for that watch more than $213,000 in dropping, right? I can't be doing dropping right now because, it's kind of late and we don't want to disturb, other people around, so we got to take it easy, Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch. This gentleman requested these watch brands, and I'm going to give it to him because, he's waited for them patiently, And it's a Patek Philippe Grand Complications reference number. Look into it. Reference number 6151G. The retrograde perpetual calendar, smoke, sapphire crystal, the Clos de Paris. The Clos de Paris. You know who that is? Clos de Paris. Louis Mercier, all that good stuff, Unbelievable, with the decoration, the Clos de Paris decoration, And the retail price of that watch, ladies and gentlemen, is $142,260. So 142,260. And I'm gonna tell you, sir, if you're looking into that watch, there's not, exacto, Clos de Paris, papá. Eso es así, Paris nails. So this watch, if you're thinking of buying it because you want it for your collection, sir, And there's no problem. That's a watch that you should buy for your collection. But if you're buying thinking that there is a lot of meat left on the bone in that watch, I got news for you. I got sad news for you. Ese reloj is dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse, and you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. This is a grand complications. This is not complication, gran complicaciones, grand complications. And I'm gonna tell you, logo. I'm gonna tell you because you need to know this. Don't pay. You want it with all the bells and whistles. You want it with all the whatever it brings. The box, everything it brings, everything. You want everything in this watch. And I tell you, 142,260 is the retail price. Do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch more than $148,000, right? The watch market is dead. The pusher, plus the pusher too. You ask for everything, Ask for everything. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, sir. I wouldn't even pay what I told you for that watch. I wouldn't even pay for that. I'm being honest, Listen, let's be honest here, guys. Let's be honest, for real. Let's be honest. Patek makes beautiful watches. They really do. From grand complications just to regular, novices. But the only watches the you Lambones want out there is two of their models. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. No, the Calatrava, the complication, this. I don't care what you say. The annual, perpetual. I don't care what you say. The only two models you want from Patek Philippe, please. You want a Nautilus and you want an Aquanaut. That's it. I don't care. Put there now. I want the complication. You want the complication. Yes. You're gonna go diving. You're gonna go to the beach. That's it. That's all you want, Mr. Donut. You know it. That's all you want. You want two of their watches. El resto, que se lo metan en el poto. You know what poto means? You know what poto is? If you don't know what poto is, I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. I won't tell you that. So I'm already telling you what it is. Those are the watches you want. Those two models is what you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I have another watch here, and we have a very, very good subscriber to this channel by the name of Damon, and he is a real connoisseur of the watch brand H. Moser. The Endeavor, perpetual, moon red gold, the moon red gold, cylindrical, tourbillon, skeleton. It was honoring the Cortina watch 50th anniversary. I'm giving you information that's unbelievable. You guys don't know about Cortina. Cortina watch 50th anniversary in the back of the watch. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. This is a monster watch. If Mr. Damon is watching this, my respect to you. This is an unbelievable time machine, and this is unbelievable. The reference number of this watch, just in case you want to look it up, is the 1811-0400. And ladies and gentlemen, wait till you hear this. There is only 10 pieces in the world of this watch, and it was launched out in the year 2022, something to that. And this watch has a retail price of $126,000. $126,000. Deep, $126,000. Tourbillon, tourbillon. And ladies and gentlemen, if you guys wanna help me out, I wouldn't pay. Some people say no more than 40 cents to the dollar. The moose is loose. You know it. The moose is loose. I wouldn't pay. I don't want to use cents in this because I don't want to offend nobody, because I'm telling you, with all the respect, guys, for real, this is an unbelievable watch brand. This watch brand is involved in Formula One and all that good stuff. They're there. These people have deep pockets. And I'm gonna say, listen, don't 50% off, right? I would say 50% off that watch. You pay 50%. That's all we got for you. But I'm just gonna be honest and tell you the truth. Don't pay for that watch more. And tell me if I'm saying 50%. Tell me if I'm saying 50%, right? Don't don't pay for that watch more than $59,000, right? I don't know what I gave him. If it was 50%, I don't know what I gave him, but don't pay more than $59,000. An unbelievable time machine. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Daytona Yellow Gold Oyster Flex Tiffany Blue Dial. Tiffany Blue Dial, reference number 126518 LN, 40 millimeter. Tiffany, the Blue Dial, this watch was 195,000, 160,000, 130,000, and I'm gonna tell you, it has a retail price of $37,400. And Mr. Donut, I'm gonna tell you, don't pay for that watch, no matter what they keep on posting up there, among themselves, hyping the watch, dealer to dealer, dealer to dealer. Don't pay for that watch more. I gotta be honest, guys. Don't pay for that watch more than $96,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want with your money. I mean, if you still want to keep on believing these people, if you guys are still in the trance, in the Pluto trance, that's up to you. That's up to you. You know what the Pluto trance is? The MK Ultra. Or they reprogram you to be a Meshuggah. Okay, there you go. There you go. So you need to look into it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much from Australia. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Patek Philippe Nautilus Rose Gold 5980. I told you, last week about the Patek Philippe 5980 Rose Gold Chrono. This watch has a retail price of $108,820. It's an unbelievable time machine, and I take pride in the prices that I give you people. I take pride. Yes, it does have meat left on that watch model, but it's still dropping. And I told you, last week I told you, don't pay for that watch more than, let's say I said, in the $150,000 price range. And some people get, salty and bitter. They get salty and bitter because, we're talking about the secondary gray watch. The secondary gray watch. It has a retail price of $108,820. And I told you last week, don't pay $150. And I'm gonna tell you today because I need to tell you again. To people that are looking for this watch. This is a used slider condition material watch. Don't pay for that watch more. Look how quick this goes. You do whatever you want, sir. You want it with all the bells and whistles. You want it with all the bells and whistles. With that beautiful shellac, wooden box. You want it with everything. Don't pay for that watch more than $145,000. You do whatever you want. All right? Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus, white gold. It has a factory diamond baguette bezel all around it. It has a leather strap. It's the 5722. 5722, white gold, 40 millimeter, leather strap. Retail price is $128,000. $128,000. You're talking about a watch, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know this watch was costing at one moment $400,000. In the gray watch market. $400,000. And I'm going to tell you today, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more. I mean, you do whatever you want. Don't pay for that watch more than $158,000, and it is dropping. You do yourself a favor. Be careful with your children's tuition money. La situación está jodida. La situación está jodida, and they're looking for lambones. They're looking for palomos. They're looking for crayon eaters, tomato cans, possum kickers, cow tippers, crumb bums, sandbags. You understand me? You understand me? And they're even looking for, window lickers. That's their favorite. If you are a window licker and you fit that credential, like that watch brand that's looking for, the profile that fits so they can use their watches. That gray watch market is looking for, you window lickers, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, the Walrus Fat Bastard, the Hungry Hippo Mr. Magoo, Big Pun and Heavy D, the two Toddler Body Brothers, the two Jehovah Witness brothers, I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus Rose Gold 7118 with a 35.2 millimeter casing, Beautiful looking time machine. White dial, rose gold. Retail price is $64,895. That's right. 64, $64,895 is the retail price. Do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch more. And I mean this. You do whatever you want. Listen to me. I don't care if your Patek Philippe raise a 15% on the tariff. Watch market is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, the watch market is dead. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say it. The watch market is dead. It's like our country. Our country's in bankruptcy. We have $1.4 trillion on credit card debt, and nobody's going to pay it. Mr. Donuts, anybody going to pay that debt? Nobody's going to pay that debt. Nobody. But you do whatever you want. It's your problem. Don't pay for that 7118 rose gold. 7118, don't pay more than $77,000. Don't pay it. Papi, $1.4 trillion, Papi. People are upside down. People don't even have money to buy eggs no more, man. That's all you need to do. Say no to the watch. Say no to the watch, Papi. They're bitter. Let me tell you something. This is a very small, a small group. We are a small group. 5 billion people on earth. Don't think that, what we have out there, not everybody's a fan of watches. It's very small. In your head, you might think it's the whole world, but it's not. It's just us lambones that like the watches. The rest have other interests. There's other interests out there. I don't know if you guys know, Exactly. Look into small independent companies too, watch companies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you a watch here that even I get surprised. And you should listen to this one. Because this is the watch that Rolex wanted to join the Audemars Piguet, Vacheron Constantin, Patek Philippe. They wanted to go in there. Rolex wanted to go in there. This is the Rolex Land Dweller. The Rolex stainless steel Land Dweller with a 36 millimeter casing, not the 40, the 36. And it has the turkey mesh dial, turkey that comes in a little mesh, a turkey, mesh, dial. I call it that, the white one, 36 millimeter. Reference number of that watch is the 127234 and has a retail price of $14,450. I'm going to ask you, all of you right now, a question. How much do you think I'm going to tell you not to pay for that watch? I already gave you the retail price, you know, because I'm stupid like that. But how much am I going to tell you not to pay for that watch? And that watch has been dropping from 45, you know, 42, 39. You understand me? What price am I going to give you? Don't be afraid. That's how much you know about what's going on out there. That's how much you know. Okay, since I got to get going, I got to go to bed. I'm going to give you the price. And I'm going to make you this price. Okay, Jose Mercado basically hit it in the head. You know, Jose Mercado, he hit it in the head. Basically, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $27,000, $300. You do whatever you want, Papi. Papi. What I bring you is unbelievable. I said, look at that. You're hearing me. Hear me out now, Mr. Donut. Hear me out. I know what I'm telling you. You guys do whatever you. This is why I am hated. You know, I'm hated because I bring the truth. I carry the truth with me. No lie. I got real big watch collectors that watch this show and then call me up to find out a number. And I got a surprise for all of you. Para todos ustedes lambones. And the prices, those big shots, go back to that Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealer. They give it to him. Just to let you know. 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 I know you don't want to hear that, but I can say it. Someday they'll put it up there. They'll write it for you. Someday they're going to get mad. Yes, he's the man. Boom, and that's it. That's it. Bobby, these people are making on those watches $30,000, $40,000, $20,000, $10,000. They got used to you guys giving your children's tuition money away. And then you gave them away your 401k. And now you started picking on your wife's 401k como un lambón. Get the frog out of here. I said frog. I don't want a lightning in my tower. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex White Gold Yachtmaster. Rolex White Gold Yachtmaster. 42 millimeter. You know, Oyster Flex. White gold. Black dial, black ceramic bezel. This watch has a retail price of $35,000. $35,000. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the retail price, I said it was $35,000. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm stupid like that, you want it with all the bells and whistles, and don't pay for that watch more than $23,500 and dropping. You do whatever you want, Papa. You do whatever you want. You know, they told me already that I cannot continue giving you knowledge because this is for free. I don't charge you for no membership. I don't charge you for nothing here. I charge you for thumbs up, and I don't even get that. I don't even get a thumbs up. You know? Pero está bien. Eso es así. And ladies and gentlemen, one watch that all of you are requesting me, and I'm going to tell you the truth, and you do whatever you want because you guys all want this watch. You guys all want it, you know? Ustedes son fanáticos. You guys are fanatics. You guys are fanatics. We're talking about the Rolex GMT stainless steel oyster bracelet, you know, with the grayish, blackish ceramic bezel and a black dial. You know, Bruce Wayne, that watch that all of you want, you know? So an unbelievable watch. Reference number 126710 GRNR. And ladies and gentlemen, they've been parading it out there for $21,000, $20,000, $19,500, and you have to come and see me. You have to come and see me so you can cut the clip and send it out. There's so many, you know, clips of my videos out there with the Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market that they're disgusted. You know, they're disgusted. There's so many clips out there all over the place. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this watch has a retail price, let's say, of $11,400. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm stupid like that, don't pay for that watch more than $17,000, $200 and it is dropping. You do whatever you want, Papi. You do whatever you want. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this Watch Market Update show and you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. You know, don't forget to do that. That's the least you can do for this channel, right? Don't forget that. I'm happy that you guys were all here today watching the show. You kept me company, and that's wonderful. And you guys still, you're still supporting the channel that way. By being here, you're supporting the channel, and I really deeply appreciate that. All right? Well, guys, like we say every week, take care and brush your hair. Thank you, guys. Be well. Ciao. Hasta luego.